Hello and welcome to another edition of Breakfast Club ahead of the Gameweek 14 deadline. Here we will reveal our captain and transfer plans, and there's a pretty big move with my team this week. Well, I think it's big anyway. Abraham's injury, lunchtime team sheet reaction, and some early Christmas shopping are also on the bill. My name is Joe, and joining me in today's department store of fantasy Christmas shopping is Neale. Neale, welcome. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Joe. Yeah, I'll be your turkey today with
Okay.
my team selection. So I'll guide you through what I've done in a second.
Okay, so the big news that we discussed in Team News video and podcast yesterday was Abraham is out for this weekend. We don't know about his availability for the next two and going forwards. So those who are hanging on to him, I'll hopefully be back soon. Those who've ditched him, no disrespect to him, but I hope he takes his time getting back. So let's have a look at the team that you sent to me earlier today. But I understand you may have made some changes. So I'll just quickly go through that for the benefit of our podcast listeners. You've got Pope in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Sionju, Lundstrom and Tamori at the back in a 4-4-2, and you have Sterling, Mount, Martial, Mane in midfield, Vardy captain, and Abraham who's red, and so presumably something's going to happen there. And and on the bench, Button, Mape, Saka and Hanley. So not a great bench. So yeah, what changes, if any, have you made?
Well, none just yet. I'm hopefully going to get some information from what's his name? Is it FPL Rockstar who leaks the teams now before the 12:30 kickoff? So my first thought is to double check that the likes of Sterling's going to play.
Yeah.
If we do get any news from that, because he is someone who could be on the chopping block. I've kept faith with him throughout this run. I mean, he's what is it now? Two goals in since August. So he's not returning at the moment. I'm clicking on to last bits of hope that he's going to turn this kind of form around. You clutch on to straws every week. We were discussing Aguero's absence and how well he's played without Jesus. With Jesus this season up front. He's averaging somewhere in the region of 10 points per game. So I'm just double checking he's playing first if I can get any kind of leaks. And if that is the case, then it'll be a straight swap up front, but not Abraham.
Ooh.
I'm keeping Abraham until I find out more news. I do, like you, I do suspect he might be missing for game week 15 as well. Even if it is nothing major and the scan comes back all clear, then these kind of impact injuries might be, a week or something like that. I'm not a doctor. I'm just speculating here, but you'll be shocked to know that. Until I find out more information about Abraham, then I'm keeping hold. So I guess I'm in a I suppose a lucky position in that I've got Neale Maupay, who was I wanted rid of him anyway. And had it not been for Abraham's injury, then he would have sat on my bench this week as a first sub or second sub, and I was going to roll a transfer, but given as you mentioned there, the dearth of options on my bench, I don't even want him coming in for any kind of points. Maupay, he's away at Liverpool. So you can probably guess what my transfer is, given that it's around about in a 6 million mark.
It's going to be Danny Ings, isn't it?
It's going to be Danny Ings, yeah. So I nearly did this last week, and again, my hand was forced by Salah, who ended up not playing at all. He was on the bench in the Liverpool game, and I suspected that. Well, I didn't suspect that was a case. I suspected it was a risk. So I got Mane in for Salah, and just kept Maupay. And this is going to be the week where he finally goes. He served his purpose. He got me 9 points against Everton, and then 2 against Norwich, unfortunately. But 11 from those 2 games was fine. And he's going to be gone, I think, providing I don't get any shocks from the likes of Rockstar on Twitter in a couple of moments. But yeah, apart from that, my team's it's very dullard. It's very template, with the exception of, well, I suppose Martial is still technically a differential of sorts. I think he's around about 10% owned. No Spurs there, as you'll see. I still think the jury's out to an extent, but I will be targeting that. We'll discuss this later on when we're talking about Christmas targets. But for now, I'm Spursless. So that's how I'm setting up for Game Week 14.
Okay, yeah, it is quite dullard, but as I prefer, as a dullard myself, I will call that cautious. So you've got a good backup in Ings for Abraham, and we looked at the fixtures. Southampton's fixtures are good for the next few games anyway, so it's not like you're getting just a single game week. He's a good option going forward.
I do suspect he'll get benched for one of these games coming up, but the fact that they've got, I think, like 4 or 5 really good fixtures, even if he starts 3 or 4 of those, then job's done, really. I mean, I do worry that Hassan Huttle's previously said that it's not a good idea to play Ings 3 times in a week, so I'm slightly concerned about that. But it's really just a short-term fix for today, as much as anything else, and then I can address the Abraham issue on Monday or Tuesday.
Looking at your captaincy as well. So
Yeah,
cautious approach at the moment. Obviously, if Sterling is out suddenly, and you find out with about a minute to spare, suddenly some quick thinking is needed,
yeah,
possibly. But looking at your captaincy. So on the captaincy video and podcast earlier this week, myself and David were saying that we thought Mane and Vardy were the best options. Vardy's the
yeah.
guy with the form, and Mane is the guy who's against an awful travel sick away team. So Brighton are there for the taking. However, Everton, the underlying stats suggest they've been rather unfortunate to concede so many. Nevertheless, they have been conceding many. Nevertheless, Vardy does score. So I can't complain with Vardy, but why have you gone for Vardy over Mane?
Yeah, well, Abraham was in the equation as well until he got his injury. He was my vice actually until he sustained that hip knock. Mane, I think he can score from any part of the body and in any position in the field. I was looking at Brighton's lack of headed chances conceded. That kind of factored into my thinking as well. I think they're the best in the division for that. Obviously, Mane's very good from his head. Having said all that, of course, he can score with his feet, quite easily.
Yeah.
So it's only really that one aspect that was playing on my mind. I just thought, I think I've flip flopped between captains this season without much success. I seem to have dodged all the holes. I've had plenty of 2-pointers from the likes of Sterling and Salah. My tactic, which is not really something I've done before, is to just leave the armband on Vardy for the next 4 game weeks.
Okay.
Knowing that I might get a blank, I might miss someone's hole throughout that, but knowing probably that he's going to score maybe 2, something like that over that period, I'll still get some returns. I'll not be constantly weaving in and out of the holes. And those 4 fixtures are pretty good. I mean, you could argue that this is perhaps the most difficult. I mean, judging on the underlying stats, but having seen the Everton v Norwich game last weekend, I mean, they were awful. They were really bad. I mean, they conceded 4 big chances to Norwich. Hernandez had that one-on-one. Cantwell had a chance. Byram missed that really good headed chance. So, and they're without lots of players through injury today as well. They've got Delph and Schneiderlin in big doubts. They're already without 2 of their defensive midfielders. So I'm just putting faith in Vardy, and then he's got Watford, Villa, and Norwich after that, who are 3 really good fixtures. So I'm not in any way suggesting Mane is not a good captaincy. I'm just playing the odds, really. I'm just thinking if I just pick one player now, stick the armband on him, don't even think about it. I've got enough to think about with team selections over the next 7 days or so, and just see how that goes, because my policy so far has been pretty disastrous. So
you say it's been pretty disastrous. So this season so far, you've been hacked. Your team value has gone, but nevertheless, as we're this is Christmas bargain themed. Perhaps you don't need so much team value. You're second in the moderators and contributors league for Fantasy Football Scout. So that says a lot about you and also about us not being so good. So you're up there. You're 42,000 in the world. So I'm behind you at 54,000, but I've taken a hit. So I'm actually now around 68,000 in the world. So I've cost myself about 14,000 places there. So you are doing well. So what it shows is the cautious approach is paying off. So there's lots of talk about stubbornness and impatience and patience and which is the better strategy. But you're having a quite a patient strategy. And then I come along. So I'm meant to be like you.
Yeah.
But then I saw this guy, Harry Kane. And then I thought of all those hat-tricks over Christmas. And then I looked at the fixtures, and Spurs fixtures are really good.
Yeah, they are.
And then I looked at how Spurs are under Mourinho, and then I saw that he'd scored 3 goals in 2 matches for him, and it doesn't look like stopping. And I saw an opportunity because I have money tied up in Otamendi, and I have some spare, about 2.5 million spare anyway. So I had an opportunity to upgrade the non-playing Abraham to Harry Kane, and that's what I've done. Eeks. So this is potentially a make or break move, because I've suddenly invested lots of money in one player. But nevertheless, I do like a good exit strategy. And what better exit strategy than Harry Kane? Because I'm more than happy to ditch him if he completely fails me after 2 or 3 weeks. But nevertheless, I can get a whole bunch of other players. So Rashford in particular is a player I did have my eye on. I didn't like his immediate fixtures. I like his fixture this weekend, but I didn't like the next couple. But with Harry Kane, I think I'm getting a potential bargain, which is weird. So he's cost me 10.9, so I waited until Friday. And I think he's possibly, under Mourinho, I look back to like how Abramovich was, how Lukaku, and also the strikers at Chelsea in the good days of Mourinho.
Yeah.
And then I think, is this the time? Is this the Harry Kane time? Get him in now before everyone gets disillusioned with Mourinho at Spurs. They all seem quite happy. And the guy's got 3 goals, 2 games. So, before we get to my captaincy, what do you think of that move? It's cost me -4. It's made me tidy up Otamendi. I'll come to my enabler in a minute. But what do you think? Harry Kane or...
Just before I do that, I will bring you news of FPL Rockstar's tweet. Now, I'll provide the caveat as usual, but so far he's been accurate with everything he's done on early team news. So he says that Gabriel Jesus, Sterling, Mahrez, Silva, De Bruyne, Mendy, and Walker all start.
All good.
That's going to him. Don't hold me to that, but so far he's been accurate. Bernardo Silva's benched. That's all he's given us so far, but we'll see for sure in 3 minutes. So I'm going through with things. Kane. Well, it's a very un-Joe move, isn't it? I mean, I'm do you a disservice there, but I mean, I will. Yeah, he has scored 3 goals. As I said yesterday, he played possibly the worst team in the Premier League on form at present in West Ham. Olympiacos, they were very poor for the first 45 minutes. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing that'll provide you with that sword. I know you like that terminology, but because it hasn't really upset the rest of the balance of your side. I look at your team there, and I don't think there's like any kind of weaknesses. I've seen. I remember early in the season when people were going really big with sort of 3-12 millionaires, and it looked like it imbalanced the team.
Yeah.
Looking at yours, and given the value we're getting from the likes of Soyuncu and Lundstrom, then I don't see any weaknesses there. I mean, Tielemans maybe. I'm not really thinking he's going to get you a lot of points, but I look at your team. I'm just looking at it now on the notes, and I can't really see much weaknesses there. Even your bench options that will get you 2 points if they need.
That's the aim. Really, I like to feel comfortable with my team.
Yeah. So it's almost risk free. Yeah, even if he doesn't quite deliver those hat tricks, it's almost like a risk free.
Abraham. So Kane blanks today. Let's say that happens. Kane blanks today.
Yeah.
Otamendi's not going to play anyway. Abraham is not going to play anyway. So
Yeah.
And so the enabler I've got on. So I'll go through my team for the benefit of those listening on the podcast. I've got Pope, Alexander-Arnold, Lundstrom, Sionju. I've got a 3-4-3. Mane captain. I'll come to that in a minute. Tielemans, De Bruyne, Mount. So I'm hopeful that Mount's going to get minutes. That'll do me because I'm going to move him on soon. So I'm looking for a Mount replacement, but he can wait. Vardy vice captain, Kane new in. And then Jimenez, who I got in early as well. So I moved for Jimenez early, and that's paid off. He's shot up in price. He's getting the goals in. So I'm hoping I can get similar with Kane. And on my bench, I've got Henderson, Dendoncker, Matt Target. So Target from Villa. Awful fixtures coming up, and I've got Rico. So I got Target in as my enabler for Otamendi. I was sick and tired of having 5 point whatever it was, siphoning that money away off my bench, but also just not playing him. So I might as well have a cheaper player who's $1 million or so less. I'm not playing. But then when you look at the fixtures, so I mean, here's the fixtures. So game week 18 to 21, Villa shoot to the top of the season ticker. Game week 18, bear in mind, Liverpool aren't playing. West Ham aren't playing. Who cares about them? But Man City are playing Leicester. So suddenly the teams aren't looking that good. it pays to have a Villa player against Southampton. Indeed, it could play for having Danny Ings against Aston Villa. So either way you look at it. I canvassed Villa fans for this, including Adam Hopcroft, who's featured on the Meet Me Manager videos. And basically, Gilbert and Target were the ones I was looking at. They were saying that in terms of crossing ability, assist potential, bonus points, Target was probably my man. Gilbert, worrying card magnet. Not a bad option either. And he can get bonus himself. But they felt the Target was the one who might get me. I'll take anything. He's so cheap. I'll take anything. He's just there as an enabler. So I've gone for that. Meanwhile, game weeks 14 to 17, Spurs, I think still have great fixtures. Really, they've got that Manchester United one, but who cares? I mean, they're conceding loads. They've got Burnley at home and Bournemouth today, so I think there's going to be points there. And then 18 to 21, the fixtures for Spurs are even better. So they've got the Chelsea defence, which hasn't been great. Brighton defence, they've got them at home, so that's not great. And then Norwich and Southampton. So I'm looking forward to my Kane points. I say that begrudgingly. I've waffled on enough to 11:30. Do we have the team sheets for Man City Newcastle?
We do. Beautifully timed. Yes, we do. And surprise, surprise, FPL Rockstar's absolutely right. So here's the 11. I'll just read them off in formation order for Man City. Edison in goal. Walker, Stones, Fernandinho and Mendy, the back four. So Cancelo's on the bench. Midfield three of Gundogan, who I think's holding today. Silva and De Bruyne. That's David Silva. Mm-hmm. So Rodri's on the bench. And a front three of Mahrez, Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. So no real shocks there. Mm-hmm. Bench, as I said, Bernardo and Rodri. Also Angelino Otamendi. There's Otamendi again on the bench.
There he is.
The right thing there. Get rid of him. Yeah. Newcastle... Not many changes, actually, just the one, and it's enforced. So it's the one we mentioned yesterday in the team news video. Yedlin was a doubt at right back, and he is out. So the usual five at the back, backs to the wall, get behind Joe Linton. Dubravka in goal. It'll be Manquillo at right back, which is a bit of a surprise, actually. He hasn't featured really. Clark, Fernandez, and Dummett. That's an unchanged back three with Willems at left back or left wing back. Mm-hmm. Midfield four of Almiron, Shelvey, Hayden, and St. Maximin. And then Joe Linton ploughing a very lone furrow up top. That's your team news.
That's a good Man City side. So well done very those strong. That got Jesus in. Someone we talked up a lot in the Scoutcast earlier in the week and on the captaincy video. Noted that from my memory, it was a shot every 13 minutes in his last 4 away matches, which is far better than the likes of Sterling and Aguero, who's doing very well. So he's taking those chances with those minutes. Guess what? He's starting. So I think there's going to be points there. Sterling, I no longer own, but I've got De Bruyne. So I'm just going to hope that De Bruyne is going to rack up all the assists that Sterling and Jesus are going to put away. I will come to my captaincy now, just before we go on to some Christmas bargains. So I've gone for Mane, and I've gone for that. Now, I wondered sometimes psychologically whether this is because I'm a Brighton fan. So I just think Brighton away to Liverpool, no chance. And so I'm over pessimistically looking at that and thinking, right, Salah, Mane, Firmino, they're all going to do well. They're all going to get points and they're all going to score a haul. With those Everton away stats, it's just that notch of doubt. But I don't have any... Mane may not haul, but I don't, on the face of it, on all the research, I don't have any doubt that he won't. He's going to get me lots of points, I hope. But and I don't mind Vardy because I own Vardy. He's so well owned, and he's going to be so well captained that unfortunately any points he gets is a rank drop for me. But I just have to hope that Mane outscores him. And that's the bet there. And I have to also hope that my Harry Kane, who will also be captained by many, will serve me well. So I think Harry Kane's about 18% at the moment ownership. So
overall,
I believe so. That's really low for Harry Kane, if he's playing up front. And I just think those central defensive midfielder positions of him hopefully are going to be over. We can hope. Let's move on to some Christmas bargains. So I've mentioned my Christmas bargains. Villa defender, Matt Target, Harry Kane. I think he's as cheap as he's going to be for the rest of the season. What about you? what are your Christmas bargains you've seen?
Well, I'm not going to venture far from Villa Park because,
Nope.
if you're looking at that little period from 18 to 21 where there's 4 games, I know you were talking about this before, and you're like the
Yeah.
two mini periods. This is the first one, isn't it? The 3 game
Yeah.
week. And the second one's obviously 18 to 21 when they're crammed together.
Yeah.
Well, Villa's top of the season ticker there. And this is something I was discussing in midweek. I watched the Aston Villa Newcastle game on Monday night and then wrote the scout notes accordingly. And what you want over Christmas is that there's going to be rotation amongst the premium assets we expect to some extent. There's going to be a benching or two that you're going to get. So what you want for your mid-price or your budget options is security of starts and the ability to deliver attacking returns or defensive returns if you're going for a defender. Now, Grealish ticks all of those boxes. So he's the sort of talisman of Aston Villa, providing he stays fit. I'm still counting him as a bargain because he's still sub 6 million. I think he's 5.9. So I watched that game on Monday. He's someone who you take a sort of illogical dislike to somebody. You just think, I don't really like him. I think it's possibly his haircut.
Is it because he looks like Father Damo in Father Ted?
He does. Yeah. That's a really good shout. Yeah, he does. And he's sort of he's a kind of just an archetypal hatred figure, isn't he? Because he's prone to dive in. I think he winds people up a bit, but that's just the sort of the idiot in me thinking like that. If you're thinking logically and you're looking at his basis of his performances, now he was brilliant on Monday. He was so good. Everything flows through him. I think there was loads of stats. He had the most final third touches in game week 14 and 13, not just in that fixture but all over. Creative, 6 chances created. Not afraid of a shot. Adam Hofcroft will tell you more about this. Ever since I think it was game week 7 when they slightly changed formation. So they've Grealish was playing as a central midfield up until that point. He's now like a left winger. Well, kind of an inverted left winger, playing very narrow, getting further forward than McGinn often.
Yeah.
So I'm personally looking at ways to get him in for game week 18. So he's top of my Christmas list for 18 to 21. I do like your Villa defender suggestion as well. They're not going to get you many clean sheets, I don't think. I mean, they're not going to come up against Newcastle every week. But then again, I mean, I do like Target. In fact, the way Grealish plays kind of benefits Target as well because Grealish is not a touchline hugging winger.
That was another point that Villa fans did point out as well. Grealish, I want to get him in. So you mentioned you sort of looked at my Tielemans pick and thought, and I think that as well. He's ditchable. Mason Mount's obviously ditchable. I did a Meet the Manager video with Tom Freeman. I do urge people to have a look at it. One of his tips is he really likes this season in particular the going for differentials in that midfield slot, that mid-price midfield slot. And he, for example, had Theo Walcott for I think finally gone. But nevertheless, it's a slot you can if you've got a lot of shields in your team, you can pick a good sword there. Yeah. Mount's become a shield, but a non-functioning shield, so a shield made out of paper mache, really. And Tielemans is a bit of a sword. Let's see how he goes. He's got me some returns, but not every week. But Grealish, so he's cheaper than both of them. Easily done. So I'm waiting. Game week 18 is, if not before, Grealish. I've seen him in the flesh at lowly Yeovil, who Villa were awful against Yeovil, except when Jack Grealish came on, and it was like, well, hang on a minute, good player alert, and he was just completely commanded the team. Yeah. The thing I don't like about him, this is the only thing. It's not the hair. It's not the fact he looks like Father Damo. It's the fact that his calves are so massive that his socks don't go over them properly. And so, that's a really minor gripe, isn't it?
They're a big target as well. He's the most fouled player in the Premier League this season. And it was his calf that got injured last month. That's why he was out for a month. Massive.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's as big as Yeovil. It's huge. I heartily agree. Any other bargains before?
Yeah, so if you're looking in a longer term way, so from now, Palace have got some really good fixtures coming up. You could say Gameweek 14 is the toughest test. It's a weird Burnley. I didn't even look at them for this because I thought Burnley bang in form. Beyond that, I think they play the next 7 fixtures after Gameweek 14, all against sides who are currently in the bottom half.
Ooh.
So Bournemouth, Watford, Brighton, Newcastle, West Ham, Southampton, and Norwich. I mean, you don't get better than that.
Yeah,
it was a brilliant run. Defensively is where we've looked previously. They've traditionally stronger under Hodgson at the back. So Joel Ward's injury has just come in a really nice time if you hang on to Martin Kelly. How long he's going to be out for, we don't quite know yet, but Hodgson said a number of weeks. So he's the obvious budget defender, 4.1. If you're looking at, we're talking about mid-priced differential midfielders here, and I suspect, I'm not going to steal your thunder, I'll pass over to you for this, but there's one Palace player who
come on then
has been resurgent in form, if not FPL returns.
Okay.
But he opened his account last week, didn't he, against Liverpool? So
right, shield your eyes. I'm going to whip it out. And I'm talking Crystal Palace stats here from the members area. And it's Zaha at the top there. So looking at all matches, 20 shots inside the box. In the great scheme of things, that is not exceptional to write home about. In Palace world, that's incredible. So he is clearly still their main guy. He's had 25 shots, 20 inside the box. He could have a bit more accuracy, but he's created 12 chances as well. So he's top for chances, top for shots in the box, top for shots, and he's 6.6. Talking about caveats, my only caveat with Jack Grealish is his calves. My only caveat with Zaha is that I really shouldn't be telling everyone about him, and I really shouldn't be adding to the clamour to get him, because I want to get him, and I think I can get him in 2 moves if I downgrade another player by a couple. But if he shoots up in price too much, I'm going to be priced out of it. So if you're thinking of getting Zaha in, just wait until I get him in and then get him in. I think he's a really good option. Milivojevic as well. Patrick Van Aanholt I like as 5.6 at the moment. It seems like a lot, but for what he offers, he does get those goals each season, doesn't he?
He does, and I think until last season, I think he'd scored 5 in the previous season. So it is a lot. But then again, we're putting a lot of faith in the likes of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold for a lot more money. Who aren't getting much in the way of clean sheets. So if Van Aanholt just mirrors that, attacking returns with the odd clean sheet, then nobody could argue that it's a waste of money this season of all seasons. Going back to Zaha, I know folk will say, well, he isn't delivering on those stats. That it's Palace. They're not an attacking team. I think they're bottom for. There's a big chances created this season, but they've played a lot of difficult games, especially in the last 5. What I will say is that Zaha, I think, got 21 attacking returns last season in exactly the same team, playing under exactly the same manager, in exactly the same way, sort of defence first, and he still got 21 attacking returns. I think it was 10 goals, 11 assists. And if he'd been a midfielder, he was a forward last season, I think that would have. I'm pretty sure I calculated this in the summer. He would have finished in the top 10 high scoring midfielders. I think possibly even challenging the top 5. So he's got previous, even under this Hodgson regime. Yeah. It's a risk. It is a risk because there's plenty of options out there in the mid-price midfield bracket.
Yeah.
Some with diminishing fortunes like Mount.
I see that as not a risk though, because so you get Zaha, it doesn't work out. Just get Jack Grealish. There you go. Or have a look around. There's always a Joe Allen that emerges somewhere. This season Lundstrom's that guy, but he's a 4 million defender, or 5 million now. So I think there's always options. That's why I like Zaha for that. Milivojevic for a bit more. Good options.
One other thing for Zaha as well is that yes, he started the season fairly weakly, but this has often been the case when he hasn't got his move away from Selhurst Park. I remember it was a little bit of a not necessarily a sulk, but a natural dropping off performances because he's a bit disheartened. Now the January transfer window is upon us. He could play for a move, couldn't he? In the next 6 or 7 game weeks, the period I'm looking at sort of ends in game week 21, which is New Year's Day. So we only need him until then. If I'm looking at it from a different angle, like if he is trying to force a move away, I don't know if he is.
Play as well into the car park.
Play his little heart out, So Lots going for him.
And as a Brighton fan, I noticed that game week 17, Palace played Brighton.
Yeah.
Zaha is a good option against weaker teams, but he's really good option against Brighton. Been an absolute nightmare player. He traditionally has got the better of Brighton. Maybe Potter will better weave his magic and stop Zaha Eliamas or whatever spell he's got planned for that move. Just before we go, I wanted to have a look at the goals imminent table. So there's a few differentials on here. A few things of note. Diego Jota is definitely going to score at some point. So he's been on there for a couple of weeks, very high up. So I think this could be his time. 14 goal attempts, no goals in his last 4. The other thing of note is that I learnt today that St Maximin's first name is Alan. That proves how much attention I pay to Newcastle players this season. I thought it was going to be something amazing, like he was from another planet or something with a name like that, St Maximin, and it's just Alan. Okay.
We love an Alan up on Tyneside.
We love an Alan. Yeah, indeed. Martial is there. They went like this. Mbappe, there he is on there. So, but Danny Ings isn't on there, of course, because he's scoring. So he's not goals imminent. Scoring, He's goals here. And Firmino as well. This is a nice period before Liverpool go off to World Club Championships. Firmino is an interesting differential. If Kane doesn't work out for some reason or gets injured, he's a tempter. I've got another Liverpool space, so I think it's not a bad option for a couple of weeks. So well done those who've thought of that. I just want to go, before we go, quick plug for the members area, because we have a new monthly system there. So we launched a rolling monthly membership scheme for the next couple of days. I think it's December the 2nd it runs out. £1.99 a month, and it rises to £2.99 there. So if you want to get a good bit of early Christmas bargain shopping in there, do get membership in the next day or so. But it's still a bargain after that, £2.99 a month. So stats, all of the stats that we've been reeling out there, and the season ticker info is all there, as well as your lovely exclusive articles, which helped me a lot during the week. Also, we launched an Instagram account, on Twitter as well. Just search in your search engine. You'll get all where we are in social media. So do check that out. But for now, good luck with your captaincy. Good luck with the move I should have done, which was the nice, sensible Dullard thing. And good luck with the rest of your game week.
Yeah, good luck, Joe. Good luck, everybody.